Last time on Pull House Blackpot Weekend Getaways, we headed toward Michigan. We got our first view of Lake Michigan, and chickpea curry was on the menu. This week we take a scenic drive, take a ride on sand dunes, visit a sleepy little town, apple spice cake is on the menu, and so much more. Stick around.
It's going to last approximately 40 minutes, covering 7 miles on the dunes. Unless I get lost, obviously those numbers will be higher. Can happen. All right, here we go. I know. They want you to have a view up there. I think that's the issue. Notoriously infamous termite bridge.
Why is that so notorious?
Because it's made of wood. It's infested with termites.
Cool.
I've seen carpenter ants crawling around in there too, so it's called a double whammy, right?
Yeah.
You know, we also find arrowheads up there because the Native American Chippewa tribe lived up there hundreds of years ago. And every once in a while an arrowhead will still wash out of the sand. We're sitting on top of approximately 2,000 acres of sand dunes, 3 miles long by 1.5 miles wide between the lakes. These dunes are state-owned. This is considered a state park up here. And so the Department of Natural Resources of Michigan, the DNR, they are the law enforcement. Then here, Macwood leases approximately 600 acres from the state exclusively for us. And we are currently driving through what we call the Dead Dune area on the very south end here, because back in the 1950s, the Boy Scouts of America came out here and they planted all of this marram grass, and they did that experimentally through the 50s to try to stabilize these sand dunes, because these sand dunes are not only moving 10 to 20 feet per year, they were threatening to fill in the Silver Lake Channel that we just drove across. So something had to be done. So that's why they planted it on this side. And it worked because it has a 10 to 12 foot root system to it. Stabilized everything.
That grass does?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it spread around the perimeter to hold everything in. They kind of hoped that would happen. So good job, Boy Scouts. I hope they got a merit badge out of it. Anyway, long before that, this used to be a forest up here, a red and white pine forest, until a man named Charles Mears got his hands on it. This is actually Mears State Park, named after him. And he was a lumber baron. He came out here in the 1870s with logging crews, and he clear-cut this forest in efforts to help rebuild Chicago after the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. That's where all the logs were shipped to. With good intentions, he left this forest to regrow. It's not doing very well. A little parched. Well, soon after the clear cut, there were lightning strikes and forest fires that pretty much destroyed this forest before it had any chance to regenerate itself. And then once the vegetation died off and the soil eroded away over time, it exposed all of the sand that was underneath it. And this is silica sand that was deposited by glaciers during the Ice Age. Once exposed, the wind just simply started blowing the sand around, creating these beautiful sand dunes over the years that we're enjoying today. So we thank you, Charles Mears, for destroying our forest, right? We get to take that dune ride after all.
Well, this is an interesting ride.
This is fun, isn't it? We are, in case you're wondering, Macwood's Dune Rides. Here's where we're riding on. A better picture. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yep, let's go look at
We
the
are at
surf.
a small, little, you see we got about an 8-minute stop right here in the middle of the rides. About a 40-minute ride total. It's not bad, it's like what, 20 bucks a person?
Yeah, not
Pretty
bad.
neat. And
Thanks, Uncle Doug.
yeah, her Uncle Doug suggested that we come here. I think he's been here several times, hasn't
Yes, he has.
So, and here we are on the shores of Lake Michigan. Beautiful.
This is just a jack pine forest completely surrounded by the sand dunes. It does offer a safe haven for the animals. The sand dunes are slowly swallowing up this forest and it's going to one day disappear. And when these pine trees get buried, they suffocate to death. Unlike these trees on the other side, the cottonwood poplar tree, which not too many people like these trees, especially in their yards because they grow like weeds, you can't control them. And that cotton pollen makes a mess, it gets everywhere. But out here, these trees are appreciated because they do offer vegetation to the animals and they help stabilize the sand dunes. That's important right there. And they can survive out here because of their systemic root system. And so what that means out here is when the sand rises up and buries a branch, that branch will literally turn into a root, work its way into the ground for moisture, keeping that tree alive as it continues to grow and stay above the sand to survive. Pretty tough trees. And right through here, these trees, believe it or not, they're about 30 feet tall. You're just seeing the treetops sticking out of the sand. There it is, Silver Lake. What a view, huh? Even in the rain. All right, I'm gonna make this quick because it's coming. That is Silver Lake. It is spring fed. It's a beautiful lake, but the sand dunes are spilling in at a rate of 2 to 3 feet per year, not only making this lake more narrow as they encroach on it, but more shallow too, because the high winds we have out here is actually driving sand in the middle of that lake. And since this lake is about a third gone already, it doesn't have too far to travel to get in the middle. It just keeps spilling in, just keeps shrinking. And it used to be, well, it's 22 feet deep out there at its deepest now, but it used to be twice that we know of. So it's slowly going. But don't worry, folks. It'll be hundreds of years before they have to rename it Sliver Lake. Big hill coming up over there. It's like dropping off the face of the earth. Here we go. And here we go.
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah, it was great. I had a ball.
It was neat. I had to get a view of the back end of the
They're all
the
named
rides.
different.
Yeah, we were on the Sand Blaster. It was pretty neat. It's actually pretty cool up there. I don't know if we'll go up there and see it or not, but there's some
Classic cars.
classic cars running through. Most of them,
I
some are
think
classic,
they're
some are
going for a
antiques.
ride. What looks like.
We're also going to go around the corner and check out the museum. This
Yeah.
actually, like I say, in case we couldn't hear it before, we were out on the dunes. And this ride, I think, they've been starting to do rides here since 1930.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's 20 bucks a person, which is, I think, very much worth the money, isn't it? It's about a 40-minute ride, and our driver.
It's a little roller coaster.
Well, of course, it makes it fun, yeah. But the neat thing, the driver was very informative and give us
Yes.
some information and history about the dunes and what nature does, and it's really interesting.
Some of those treetops, the trees are over 30 feet tall.
Yeah, and they thrive in that. Know how to thrive in that sand. As a branch gets topped by the
close.
sand,
Yeah.
it actually becomes a root.
Yeah.
Okay, we have arrived at the Little Sable Point Lighthouse. Well,
You're going up in it, I'm not.
yeah, I'm gonna go up. Yeah, they said this is been a continuous working lighthouse since 1874, and it's one of the tallest lighthouses on Lake Michigan. I think I double checked it. I think it's about, what they say, 115 or 119 feet tall. Pretty cool. We're only about a mile.
From
Yeah,
the dunes.
we're about a mile from
Dune
Dune ride. So if you're gonna go see the one, you might as well come see the other two. So we'll go get a better view of it. Tickets to go up in it, I think it's a guided tour, are $8 for adult, and Angel's not gonna go up, but if you stay down here, it's to this part around the bottom is free. So here we go.
Here we go. Beautiful.
But yeah, the room will be in up there. The top, you cannot go up what they call the lantern room.
Okay, I'm gonna head in.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
By all means, help yourself.
He said there was 139 steps to get to the top. Well, that was pretty neat tour for, because Lady Top
You
had some
got to go up in
information.
it.
Well, you could have.
I know, but I didn't want 130 steps.
130 some steps, yeah. It was really, it was interesting too, just to, well, basically where we're standing was the original where the house was, that of course the gatekeeper,
The lightkeeper.
The lightkeeper would have lived or stayed, or took shifts, or lightkeeper actually lived in the house, but
Yeah, they had
they tore
a
it
light
down.
keeper and his family, and the assistant light keeper and
Yeah.
his family.
Yeah,
It was a 3-story building that was here.
yeah, it was pretty neat.
Next up, Pierce Stocking, Scenic Drive, and the legend of Sleeping Bear Dunes.
Continue for 4 miles.
All right, we are at the Pierce Stocking Scenic Drive.
Sorry guys, no hunting on this road.
This is Glen Lake. This is Glen Lake, and it's interesting. It says, why is the water so blue? In a typical lake, lakes in forested areas are often fed by runoff. So you have soil, leaves, other organic matter that's strain the water like a tea bag. And the sunlight can't permeate the dark water. But in Glen Lake is fed by clear groundwater, not runoff. Water's clarity allows sunlight to penetrate deep into the lake, where only shorter wavelength blue light is reflected. Wow, this is beautiful. Lake Michigan overlook. We're still on the Pierce Stocking Scenic Drive, and here we are, the Lake Michigan overlook. Warning, avoid getting stuck at the bottom. Water levels are high, and the only way out is up. Rescues cost $3,000. And can't even see down at the bottom of the lake. So, this is the legend of the Manitou Islands and the Sleeping Bear. Once, a long time ago, it says there was in a land called Wisconsin, which is across the Great Lake, there was a terrible hunger, and many people had died. So Mama Bear and 2 cubs decided to wade into the water to try to swim across to find more food. Most of the way across, and they had about 10 miles to go, one of the cubs sank and drowned because he was too tired. Shortly after, the other cub also died. So Mama Bear, nothing she could do, swam over to where we stand over here, laid there, hoping that her cubs would come up. But what rose from the two cubs were the North and South Manitou Islands. And on this sand dune over here is Mama Bear laying there, looking after her two cubs. Pretty cool. Well, we have come to this neat little fishing town about 30 miles north of Traverse City.
And guess what the name is? Fishtown.
Fishtown. Actually, we're in Leland, Michigan, and Fishtown is just a little section right along the shores of Lake Michigan. It's kind of a little neat little souvenir shops and other little neat shops and little
Supposed to
fishing
be able to
village.
see salmon running upstream though, too,
Yeah,
right?
they said late summer, you might be able to see salmon up a couple little dams, little mini, small dams over here. So we're going to check it out and see what we can find.
As we leave Traverse City, we are now headed to our end destination of Mackinaw City.
Continue on US 31 North for 62 miles.
So here we are at our campsite, settled in, and scroll around here. There's a drive going back out, and if you pan just around here, right out our front door is Lake Huron. And then back up here, so I got some more footage of here also. Can't get real close, but way up here, can't really see it very good, is Mackinaw Island, about a mile and a half to 2 miles from here. Well, for our first night here at
Mackinaw City.
we're doing dessert. Sheila is doing the main dish tonight. We're kind of switching it up throughout the next 4 days.
Yep.
So we're doing something, and it is getting into fall. So we're doing an apple-themed recipe, of course, and that is
Apple spice cake.
Apple spice
with
cake.
French vanilla icing.
And it's a really an easy
Cake.
Yeah. No fresh apples, so you don't have to chop and peel and all that. But
No.
he uses
Although you use your pie filling, your apple pie filling, you do want to chunk that up or the pieces get kind of
they're
big.
kind of too big for that. But yeah, it's a 20-ounce can of apple pie filling.
But we're going to regroup. I'm going to have Wade mix it up. I'll make the icing, and then we'll get to baking it.
All right.
So we'll be right back.
Angel is icing up. She's all ready. Gotten the apple pie filling out. Chopped up the apples a lot smaller, so it makes it easier to eat. And it's very simple. Let's see, which goes in first? It'll make any difference, doesn't it, Angel?
I would mix all the wet stuff first.
Yeah. Which is?
Your pie filling.
And 4 eggs. So. Okay, 4 eggs. Wipe my hands. Okay, now I'm gonna mix them up a little bit just to make it easier. Okay, good enough. And next, I've already opened it, got it out. It's just any whatever flavor you like. This is just a regular. These are like 15.25 ounce regular cake mix size.
And you can make different flavored cakes by different flavored. You can use a white cake mix and put blueberries in it. just whatever
Whatever flavor you like.
flavor you want. Now, the original recipe called for cherry pie filling and black chocolate.
Yeah,
cake.
the Black Forest cake.
I didn't like that though.
So we changed it up. Of course, with the with the spice already in here, makes it great for the apple. So dump that in. Give it a good stir.
Now, honey,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to line the Dutch oven, aren't we?
It's a sweet cake, so it's just easier to clean up. Yeah.
And this is a 9x13 recipe, which is good for what Dutch oven,
A
dear?
12-inch Dutch oven. So we're gonna use a 12-inch. So I'm gonna get it mixed up real good so you can see what it looks like, and then we'll have to come back when I get the Dutch oven ready for the cake in it. Okay, so basically it's all together now, and real simple. We had 3 ingredients. We had the
Egg,
4 eggs, and our
20-ounce pie filling.
20-ounce apple pie filling, and 1 spice cake mix, all mixed together. Stir it up. There we go. So we'll be right back with our, I gotta line my Dutch oven. This is a 9x13 recipe, which is also the same as a 12-inch round. So we're gonna do our 12-inch 6-quart Dutch oven. I'll get lined with some foil for easy cleanup, and then we'll put it in and get it baking. We'll be right back. Okay, so I got my Dutch oven lined with foil and put some cooking spray in it. And now the only thing else left to do is take our cake mix, pour it in. Now, we want to make sure we kind of spread it out a little bit in the bottom evenly, because it is fairly thick batter. Already lit the charcoal. Won't be long to be ready.
Yep.
Put the lid on. And we'll give that charcoal a few more minutes because I don't think it's quite ready. One thing that I always make you do when I try to make sure when I'm doing mixing something like this and we get the charcoal is you don't want to, it's much better, I should say, yeah, it's much better to have your cake or whatever you're making ready and in your charcoal still going, so that way we're waiting on the charcoal, because once that charcoal is ready, you really need to be baking. So if you wait and you're 5-10 minutes beyond charcoal ready, then you actually may lose your heat from your charcoal before your normal cake is done or whatever your bake is done, because you've got about 40 minutes of cook time before you really start losing heat. Okay, charcoal's ready. We're gonna time to get it baked. Now, if you've been watching our channel, you know 12-inch Dutch oven, standard bake of a cake, 30 pieces of charcoal. Should do is pretty good. So you're gonna dump them out. Yep. And 1/3, 2/3. 1/3 on top, which would be 10. 20 on, excuse me, 20 on the bottom, 20 on top, 10 on the bottom. I'll get it right in a minute. Can't speak today. And of course, we only do the charcoal on the bottom around the outside edge, because put it in the middle, you're going to get that hot spot, you're going to get the center burnt, especially on breads and cakes. You really got to be careful. Okay, we got a 10 on the bottom. Now we're going to put our 20 on top. We put like 4 nice ones right in the center. And then good, nice ring around the outside edge. Dutch oven, all to get us. And this is our standard cake, even though it's a little heavier than just a regular box mix if you made the package instructions. But still probably going to take about good 30 minutes, maybe a little longer. But so we're going to go ahead and do a 10-minute rotate, and then at 30 minutes we'll give it a check. So we'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay, it's time for the second rotate. Excuse me.
Rotate?
It's time for the second rotate. In case you didn't notice, we put the wind guard on because it's fairly gusty winds here off the lake. And the worst thing about charcoal cooking, the worst enemy almost, besides rain of course, would be wind. So do a regular rotate. Dutch oven one way, lid the other way.
Are you gonna check it now, honey?
No, it's only been 20 minutes.
And why is that?
We know it's probably not done. It's going to take at least 30
Well,
minutes.
and if
so.
you're looking, you ain't.
If you're looking, you're not cooking. You're just letting all that heat out, and it takes that much longer to get it done. So we're almost 99% sure it's not done. There's no sense in taking the lid off yet. So we'll be back in 10 minutes, and then we'll check it.
Well, he just took the lid off of it, and boy, does it look
If you can
good.
see, it's starting to come loose from the edges. Now, feels spongy, but I'm going to go get, just in case.
It smells good, I'll
It
tell
never
you.
hurts to have a toothpick in the middle of any kind of a cake. Comes out clean.
It's done.
It's done. So, we're going to pull it out of here, let it cool, and then we're going to make the icing. Be right back.
Okay, this icing is so hard to do.
Not.
It calls for 12 ounces of sour cream. That makes it a little too thick, so I'm doing 16. You think, oh, sour cream, yuck. No, because to that, get all my yummy goodness out, is 1 box of instant French vanilla pudding. French vanilla tastes the best in this recipe. Now I'm just going to mix this up a little bit. And you have to work fast because it sets up fairly quick. And there you go. Apple spice cake with French vanilla icing. Now you can eat it. We ready?
We're ready. Let's cut it, taste it. Before we give it to
We gotta make sure it's good.
Before we share it with. Stop it.
Well, help me out here. There's one, there's 2 plates in there. There's your fork. Here's me a fork.
This is spongy.
Yep. Oh, this is good.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So,
Nice and moist. We're about to do it for this
yeah,
week's episode, isn't it?
if you liked our travels and our video, please give us a thumbs up, which is a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And share us on Facebook or Instagram. And what kind of cakes do you fix? Give us a comment.
Yeah. And we're going to be continuing next week with,
Well, I think we're going to Mackinaw Island.
actually
aren't
it's
we?
tomorrow, we're going to Mackinaw Island. So we'll pick up there where we left off. Bye.